Europe is a food lover's paradise, but some of its traditional dishes are downright terrifying. I've tasted everything from the sublime to the shocking, and trust me, some so-called delicacies are pure nightmare fuel. Today we're counting down the top 10 most disgusting foods in Europe. Dishes locals love, but outsiders might run from. We're talking fermented fish, maggot-infested cheese, and more. Would you dare to try any of these, or would you bolt for the hills? Buckle up. This is going to get weird, wild, and very, very smelly. Let's dive in. Number 10 is surströmming from Sweden, a dish so pungent it's actually banned on some airlines because the cans are considered a potential hazard. That's right, this infamous delicacy is so notorious for its smell, it's not even welcome at 30,000 feet. Surströmming starts as humble Baltic herring, caught in the spring when the fish are just right. The herring are lightly salted, just enough to keep them from rotting outright, then packed into cans and left to ferment for months, sometimes even longer. The result? A can that bulges with gas, threatening to burst at any moment, and a smell that's been compared to rotten eggs, vinegar, and even a garbage dump on a hot summer day. That's why most people open surströmming cans, underwater or outside, far from any enclosed space, to avoid a spray of putrid fish juice and the overwhelming stench that follows. Despite the smell, Swedes have found a way to enjoy it. They serve it on thin, soft flatbread, usually with boiled potatoes, onions, and sometimes sour cream, claiming these toppings balance the intense flavors. But make no mistake, the taste is intensely salty, mouth-puckeringly acidic, and the aroma is something you'll never forget. For many, just a whiff is enough to last a lifetime. Trying surströmming is a rite of passage for some brave souls, a dare for others, and a hard pass for most. It's the kind of food that brings people together, if only to see who can handle it. But who first thought, let's eat this? Most likely, it was born out of necessity and desperation, a way to preserve fish before refrigeration existed. Over centuries it became a tradition today. Surströmming is a piece of Swedish history, one you'll never forget no matter how hard you try. It's a culinary experience that lingers in memory, and sometimes in your clothes. Would you dare to open the can? Would you be brave enough to take a bite, or would you run for the hills at the first whiff? It's number 10 on our list, but for many, it's the undisputed king of foul food challenges, a true test of courage and curiosity. What a way to start our countdown. If you think you can handle surströmming, just wait until you see what's next. Number 9 is hakarl from Iceland, fermented Greenland shark, and perhaps the most infamous dish in the country's culinary history. The fresh flesh is actually poisonous, loaded with toxins that can make you seriously ill. To make it edible, Icelanders have developed a unique process. They bury the shark in sand and gravel, pressing it with stones to squeeze out the fluids, and leave it to rot for weeks underground. After this, the meat is dug up, cut into strips, and hung in open-air sheds for several months to dry in the cold Icelandic wind. The result? Small, pale cubes of shark that reek of ammonia and decay. The smell is so overpowering, it's been compared to cleaning products, rotten cheese, and even a public restroom. Just getting close is enough to make your eyes water and your nose burn. Locals serve it with brennivin, a powerful Icelandic schnapps nicknamed Black Death. And after tasting hakarl, you'll understand why that chaser is necessary. The texture is rubbery and chewy, almost like biting into a tough eraser, while the flavor is an intense blast of ammonia mixed with strong fishiness. It burns your throat, leaves a chemical aftertaste, and the sensation lingers for hours, making it nearly impossible to forget. For Icelanders, eating hakarl is a proud Viking tradition, a symbol of survival in a harsh land. For outsiders, it's a test of courage and willpower, one that many fail. Hakarl isn't really enjoyed in the usual sense, it's endured, a rite of passage for the brave or the curious. It's a symbol of Icelandic resilience, but for most, it's a culinary nightmare that haunts your senses. Would you dare to try it? This is food that truly fights back, challenging even the most adventurous eaters. Number 9, and already we're in deep trouble. The journey only gets wilder from here. Let's keep going. Number 8 is casu marzu from Sardinia, cheese that's alive with maggots. A wheel of pecorino is left out so cheese flies can lay eggs inside. The maggots digest the cheese, turning it soft, runny, and pungent. When it's ready, it's crawling with live larvae. Locals eat it with the maggot still wriggling. If they're dead, the cheese is considered unsafe. Some shield their eyes to avoid jumping maggots. The flavor is sharp, peppery, and lasts for hours. It's illegal to sell, but thrives on the black market. For Sardinians, it's a delicacy. For most, it's a horror show. Food should not crawl off your plate. Casu marzu, a cheese that bites back. Would you try it? I wouldn't. Next. Number 7 is black pudding from the UK and Ireland, a breakfast staple made from pig's blood. Blood is mixed with oatmeal and fat, stuffed into a casing, and boiled or fried. The result is a dark, crumbly sausage with a rich metallic flavor. Some love it, others can't get past the idea of eating blood. It's a relic of nose-to-tail eating where nothing was wasted. The taste is earthy, peppery, and unique. For many it's delicious, for others, it's a deal-breaker. It's not wriggling or rotten, but the concept alone lands it on this list. Black pudding classic or just plain bloody awful? You decide. Either way, it's a divisive dish. Would you try it? On to the next. Number 6 is smalahove from Norway, a whole sheep's head torched, smoked, and boiled. Served with potatoes and rutabaga, it arrives on your plate, teeth, eye, and all. The ritual: eat the ear and eye first. They're considered delicacies. The texture is gelatinous, the flavor rich and fatty. But the real challenge is psychological, carving meat off a face, staring into an empty eye socket. It's nose-to-tail eating at its most graphic. For Norwegians it's a festive treat. For outsiders, it's a dare. Smalahove is a celebration of using every part of the animal. But for most, it's a horror show on a plate. Would you eat something that stares back? It's a dish you'll never forget. Norway, you've outdone yourself. Next. Number 5 is kiviak from Greenland. Hundreds of small seabirds fermented inside a seal carcass. The birds, feathers and all, are stuffed into a seal, sewn up and buried for months to ferment. When ready, the seal is opened, and the birds are eaten, liquefied guts and all. The smell is overpowering. The taste is like aggressive cheese. It's a survival food, born from necessity in a harsh climate. For the Inuit, it's tradition. For outsiders, it's unthinkable. Kiviak is a masterpiece of preservation. And a test of courage. Rotten birds in a seal culinary horror at its finest. Would you try it? Moving on. Number 4 is jellied eels from London, a dish of chopped eels boiled in spiced stock, then set in their own jelly. Served cold, the eels are suspended in a wobbly, translucent mass. The look is off-putting gray chunks in quivering jelly. The texture is slippery, the flavor mild. But the visual is a deal-breaker for many. It's a relic of London's working-class history now fading fast. For some, it's nostalgia. For others, it's a slimy mess. Jellied eels, misunderstood classic or culinary disaster. The tradition is dying, but the legend lives on. Would you give it a go? London's pride or shame, either way it's unforgettable. On to the next. Things only get weirder. Number 3 is svid from Iceland. Another sheep's head, this time boiled and served hot. The head is split in half, brain removed, and everything else is fair game. Cheek, tongue, and even the eye are eaten. It's a common meal, even at bus stations. Tradition says you must eat the ear, or risk being accused of sheep theft. The flavor is rich, but the psychological barrier is huge. For Icelanders, it's comfort food. For others, it's a test of nerves. Svid is a stark reminder of where meat comes from. Would you carve up a sheep's face for lunch? Iceland, you never disappoint. Next. Number 2 is andouillette from France, a sausage made from pig intestines and colon. The intestines are coarsely chopped, seasoned, and stuffed into more intestine. The smell, unmistakably barnyard, often described as fecal. When cooked, the aroma fills the room and divides the crowd. The French say it's a delicacy. Most visitors run for the door. The texture is chewy, the flavor intensely porky and earthy. There's even an official association for authentic andouillette. For fans, it's rustic charm. For others, it's a culinary nightmare. Would you brave the stink? One more to go. Number 1 on our list is lapkok, also known as blodpalt, a notorious dish from the far north of Sweden and Finland. A dumpling made from reindeer blood and rye flour, ingredients that might make even the bravest foodies hesitate. The process is simple but intense. Fresh reindeer blood is mixed with coarse rye flour, kneaded into a sticky, dark dough, then shaped into balls and dropped into boiling water. Sometimes a chunk of pork fat is hidden inside each dumpling, melting as it cooks and adding a burst of richness to every bite. Served piping hot, lapcock is traditionally paired with a generous dollop of butter and a spoonful of tart lingonberry jam, creating a visually striking contrast. Inky dumplings against vivid red jam. The texture is dense, chewy, and almost rubbery, with a heaviness that sits in your stomach. The flavor? Pure, metallic blood, unmasked and unapologetic. There are no spices, no herbs, no attempt to disguise the main ingredients. Just blood and flour, as raw and honest as food gets. Lapcock is a dish born from necessity and survival in the harsh Arctic climate, a staple for the indigenous Sami people. But for outsiders, it's the ultimate test of culinary courage. Why is it number one? Because here, blood isn't hidden or disguised. It's the star of the show, front and center, with nowhere to hide. Would you dare to try a dumpling made almost entirely of blood, knowing exactly what you're biting into? It's a gothic nightmare on a plate, dark, dense, and intimidating, even to the most adventurous eaters. Lapcock stands as the pinnacle of Europe's most challenging and, for many, most disgusting foods. Dreadful, unforgettable, and absolutely unique. There you have it, 10 European dishes that push the limits of what we call food. From fermented fish to maggot cheese and blood dumplings, these are more than meals, they're stories of survival and tradition. What's delicious to one is revolting to another. Now, I need a plain cheese sandwich. Definitely not Sardinian. Which of these would you try? Which would you never touch? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more food adventures. Until next time, get out.